Welcome to the pre-show and or the ads if you're watching ads pop up like I am on my screen.
Did you say ads or ass?
Yes.
Okay.
Hey, it's an ad for the type of computer that I have right now. Yay.
Wow.
It's a happy ad.
What the fuck is this?
What's up, Joey?
Like, what is...
Maybe next week we should just do memes. Just all night memes. A whole hour of memes.
You can't just force yourself to do memes. Like,
No, I don't mean us do memes. Just laugh at other people's memes. Like, really good vibes and show a bunch of memes on screen and shit.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, fair enough. Meme review. I don't know. Chad seems to be into it.
Well, if that's what they want, then they can have whatever they want. Because that's the kind of person I am. I will do anything for these guys.
Anything?
Anything.
I guess a dangerous crew for whom to say anything.
I know.
What's up, guys? I'm going to reload chat right quick. Diddy wants money and bitches.
Okay. That's,
Please, Santa. He called you Santa, though.
Santa, baby. Awesome.
He wants money and bitches. Drew's up in here, too. What's up, Drew? All right. Looking good. How's it sound on your guys' end? Do we sound balanced? Does it sound good? It sound all right. Video audio is A+. Let me try some music. 1 second.
What the fuck's up with my hair today? Fuck.
The loud music. This is like the pre-show music shit. Okay, there's some music. Now here's a very, very low music. Louder, he says. Give me the louder music. Yeah, well, it goes pretty loud. We're gonna pause that. And then maybe the last minute before we start the show, we'll start that back up. Maybe we should full screen that that great logo we got.
Yes.
Let's see that.
I think that we should do that.
It's your boy, Skinny Penis.
Skinny Penis. Hey, it's your boy Bobby.
All right, here we go. There's the LB. There's the juice. The LB GIF. The logo GIF that Imith made us. So that's it, full screen. Just testing that out. That looks good. We'll pop that back up with a little pre-show music for a moment before we start. But I think we're good.
Yeah, I'm gonna pre.
I'm gonna fucking pre.
I'm fucking pre. Go pre.
It is like a testicle drop. That's like, yeah. Yep, you got it.
That's it. Balls.
You got it.
Ow. You got it. It's balls.
It's like a dick.
Guess what?
Like a man dick?
Like a man dick? Dicks? Like a man dick? God, I love that movie so much.
There's 15 people in here. We haven't even started. Oh, hey, can you turn that that thing down on the bottom of your mic? We're getting that feedback stuff again.
Shit.
Son of a... Yeah, Miami Vice vibe. I dig the old, the 80s throwback shit going down. The retro wave stuff. The...
Hells yeah.
What's up, Rareston? Hope your rest of your rating went well this week, buddy.
Oh, fuck, why am I tired? I slept all day.
Yeah,
fuck.
No. I still got bedhead. You can see going on right here. I ain't even
Way
mad.
to go.
Ain't even mad. I'm rocking it. So, am I going to learn all kinds of stuff about your past relationships that I haven't heard before tonight?
Yes.
Sweet.
It's gonna be juicy.
Juicy. Give me that juice.
It's like a running theme this week. Juicy stuff. And that's what our show is called.
Sure is.
On Monday. I don't fucking know what's going on with my hair. It's not cooperating.
I don't know, but I'm going to
It's
turn
doing
some music
weird
on in
shit.
the background while we talk pre-show.
Okay. We've only got 4 minutes left of pre-show.
Yeah. Just it's got a little bit of a beat, a little bit of intrigue. With what is supposed to be Twitch safe tunes, apparently.
What is Twitch safe anyway?
Don't put it. It's like a musical condom for Twitch. It saves you from the STD of being muted on the stream when you export to YouTube.
Cool.
Sadistic would like to know how your tendonitis is today.
It's not as bad. I got to work from home today. Whenever I get to work from home, it seems to be a little better just because I'm not making the tendon work all day and stuff. But yeah, no, it's manageable except at like the end of the day when I'm commuting home. Because at that point it's just like it's been too much. But otherwise it's fine. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, the funny recurring joke, except that it really fucking hurts.
Yeah.
Oh Jesus, Sadistic used to have it because of work.
Oh, that sucks, dude. It's like it's just shitty because it just fucking hurts, you know? Like I have like a really high pain tolerance, and I'm not just saying that. Like sometimes I just like hurt myself more accidentally because I don't know that I'm in pain until it's too late. But like this makes me want to cry sometimes, and that's bullshit. Like it just fucking hurts. So stupid.
That's pretty stupid.
Stupid. Oh, stupid. Yeah, well, that's what
movement, right?
I can see it. Yeah, the doctor said for me is because I just keep sitting in fucked up ways. Like I can't sit like a normal human person. I have to do shit that's dumb repeatedly. 1 minute till the show starts.
All right, we are the 10th listed on the talk show page. It's not bad for a pre-show.
Seriously. What's this? What is this? Look at this.
9 other... Don't worry about that. They can't see that.
I can.
You just turn your head.
What's going on?
The camera's from the front. You're good.
Just want to look pretty.
Oh, giddy streamer problems, man.
It's the tendonitis, you know?
Sorry, buddy. Hey, Play by a J. Thanks for following, buddy. All right, we're going to full screen it here. We're going to go some music.
Is it time to go?
We got 1 minute.
Baby, I'm ready to go. Republica. Don't watch that video when you're high.
Oh, God, it's horrible. Don't watch it ever. It's horrible. Let's switch this music up. Here we go. Uh-oh. All right, welcome back, everybody. Leading in with a little 80s baby, sweet track from Sunglasses Kid. Love that one.
80s baby.
Yeah, that's good shit. Welcome,
That's good
guys.
shit.
Episode
Hello, everybody.
15. 15 we've been doing of these. We missed you guys last week. Sorry about that. This week we are back, and for a little something interesting. A little holiday relationships
Yeah, because we thought
stream.
like, what the hell should we talk about?
Yeah.
And what does everybody want to hear about? Relationship junk.
Yeah.
Because that's always interesting to
Yeah.
hear about people's business. The best is when you're like accidentally eavesdropping on somebody who's talking about their relationship to another person,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh,
That is really good. I love that.
let me just tune in. Yeah, so if you're new, hello, we are the Lagging Balls podcast. We actually talk about Blizzard games, except for StarCraft. But we like to talk about other stuff sometimes too, and so that's what this show is for. Just talking about bullshit, and the
Yep.
bullshit we're talking about tonight is past relationships, our past relationships.
Yeah, it's
I
kind of
can't
quickly
talk.
becoming like a TMI show.
Yeah, because last time we talked about stuff that grossed us out, like gross things,
Yeah.
and I said a lot of
You
things that I
said a lot
didn't.
of words on the show that is about things that we are telling about ourselves.
Yeah,
That's all
but
right. That's a
maybe
good
too
thing.
much. I don't know.
So
Yeah.
give now that we're live, give everybody a quick update on your tendonitis.
Oh, it's all right. I'm gonna start physical therapy soon, and
Good.
everything will be fine. But yeah.
Glad to hear that.
So, let's get into this. Let's
Yes,
talk.
let's.
I'm excited to hear about your past relationships
I am excited to
and
hear about yours.
all the bitches that you have and had.
None of them were bitches. They were all beautiful, wonderful ladies.
Is that true? That's not true. It can't be true.
It is absolutely true.
Right. Okay. So, okay. Let's begin.
All right.
wants to
well,
go
let's start
first?
with why don't we start with our first relationship?
That's what I just said. Now, who gets to start?
First relationships? Oh, I didn't catch that part. I'm sorry. Go for it.
Okay. So here's what happened. My first, not relationship, but I need to explain this part before I explain the first relationship part. So I liked this guy online first, and I was like 13, 14 kind of thing.
Okay.
And I thought I liked him. I didn't really, but like he was paying attention to me, so I was like, awesome. I like,
Yeah.
yeah, you give me attention. I didn't know what he looked like. It was literally nothing, and I probably made most of it up, but like it was the first kind of like dude paying attention to me, and I was talking to him and he was talking back. So, naturally, as like a weird hormonal 13-year-old girl, it's like, oh, I love you. But then he just kind of disappeared, and I think it was like an MSN Messenger kind of thing. So, like a MySpace kind of thing. So I was in grade 10 in Canada, if that means anything to anybody. So I'm in high school, and I was into guys with like long hair or like longer hair, I guess. And I was in drama class, and it was like the first day, and there were two guys in class with the kind of hair that I liked. And I remember thinking, I pick that one. Because I was like heartbroken that this like online person disappeared naturally. And I was obviously rebounding, but I didn't know what that was yet. And so I just kind of picked out a guy that I thought was cute out of another guy. And turns out like both of the like I didn't know them yet.
Yeah.
Turns out like neither of them were a good choice at all.
Why?
But well, the one that I didn't choose turned out to be a real asshole and hung out with like the crowd that I didn't hang out with because they were jerks, like the popular kids. And the other one I will explain wasn't smart. We'll just say we're just not a smart person. He was not smart. But turns out I had competition. There was another girl that was into him, and she knew all of his friends, and she knew him previously and stuff like that. I didn't know who he was, but since I chose him, I just sort of like went for it. So I remember just like, trying to figure out who his friends were and trying to get him to notice me. And I had a lot of balls. Like I've never been shy about going after dudes.
I see what you did there.
because of the show name.
Drink.
But I remember like
Can
it
you imagine?
wasn't.
Side note: can you imagine the drinking game? How everybody would be so screwed if they had to drink every time we said balls.
Yeah, no, they'd be really screwed.
All right, so okay, go ahead.
They'd be laggy balls. So I remember like it was slowly working. Like he knew who I was on the radar and stuff like that. And but it wasn't going fast enough for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I wrote him a note.
Oh,
Oh
a
yes. And I
teenage year's
remember
note.
specifically just like just I like you, do you like me, here's my phone number. And I drew a picture of an acorn on it because I was a weird teenager. And hey metal Zani, what's going on? um but I remember I specifically I didn't hand it to him, I stuffed it in his back pocket. So
That's a little forward from the behind.
very forward. So that's how that went.
Nice.
And
Wait, but what?
eventually,
What do you mean? That's how that went. What happened?
well, he called me and stuff,
Oh,
and
okay. Nice.
we started dating eventually. And that girl that was also trying to go after him, like, she did not like me. Like
Wait,
that was.
are we naming names here? Like, can you say who he was?
I don't think it's that important.
Okay.
But
Well, I mean, we got to differentiate between all the. You know, make a code name because we got to differentiate between
no,
all the
okay.
relationships we're gonna talk about.
His name was Chris, and he was just like
Let's
he hadn't what.
let's just agree that all the names we use tonight are not the real ones, and that they're just for the
Well, it's too
purposes of the
late now,
show.
isn't it?
It wouldn't have been if you didn't say that, but okay.
Well, you said that too late. He's
Doesn't matter.
forcing me to name names.
Doesn't matter. There's a
Well,
million Chris's in
he's
the
not
world.
listening to this anyway.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, like he was I guess like when you're 13, 14, there's like a line between who is maturing and who isn't, and there's always a line there, but it's more obvious at that age, like some
Mhm.
people are still very much children and some people are desperately trying to be teenagers.
Yeah.
And I was more of a teenager than he was, and it's just like he just had all these like childish tendencies, and he was really not smart, and like I mean IQ wise, like but that was important because
Yeah. Fair enough.
I realized that like I like dating intelligent people. So, like
Okay.
that's you kind of have to learn these things
Yeah. Hey,
early
lesson
on.
one learned.
Yeah.
When
yeah,
did you? Let me ask you this. When did you realize that? Was it during the relationship or like after? Or?
It was very shortly. Like, see, the problem is like another thing I learned is that you can't literally just go into your first class on the first day of school and pick out somebody you don't know and then just go after them until you have them. Like, it's not.
It's kind of a one-time lesson, right? Like,
Yeah, it's like you don't just pick somebody to go out with and then like go balls to the wall, just like get it done, and then find out who they are because it doesn't go well. So it was fine. Like I learned a lot, and he had a really great basement, and his mom was kind of nuts.
Is that a code for something?
Yeah, you guys know that. But just not somebody I would have gone out with had I known him, I guess. And he had all these weird quirks, like he didn't like me to be taller than him, so he wouldn't let me wear high heels, and he wouldn't let me wear lipstick because he didn't like that either.
Those are very specific.
I know, that's weird. But yeah, and like he wouldn't listen to me when I was talking to him on the phone, so I was just like, whatever.
Was he
And,
just doing other things, or?
Yeah, and I remember my friends hated him so much that they made up this like fun pretend I hate Chris club, which really hurt my feelings when I
Aw.
found out. But in retrospect, I can understand completely because
Did
he
you
was
find
really
out
annoying.
while you guys were dating, or like later on?
Yeah, while we were dating.
Oh
so,
man, they didn't
yeah.
hide that well.
Yeah. So that lasted for like 7 months, I think, and then I finally like dumped him over the phone, and that was that. So it was I don't know. It was an interesting relationship. A lot of firsts. I remember one time like he said that he was gonna marry me and stuff. And I'm thinking,
You're like, slow down.
no, that's not gonna happen. I don't think so. That's okay. Okay, so what about your first one?
My first actual relationship was this girl. I lived in a small town, so I moved from New York City to a small town because my parents were military, and this was middle of seventh grade, middle of sixth grade, somewhere
Okay.
around there, right? It was the middle of the year, so I show up in this new school, and I'm kind of like the new kid there. Um, and at first, that was really nice because I'm the new interest in this small town where everybody grew up together. So there was intrigue about the new guy, and that put me in a very good position. Now it turns out none of those little intrigues within my school were really my speed, but I was introduced to this other girl through her mother, of all things, because I helped out at a day camp where my little sister was going during the summer, and one of the counselors there was like, I have a daughter, and I was like,
Ew. How old were you?
that's weird. I was like, that was like 15,
Ew.
16,
What the
something like
hell?
that. Yeah, I don't know.
It's like have awkward gropey sex with my 15-year-old daughter, little boy.
Well, she didn't really say that, but she did introduce me to her daughter, and turns out her daughter was hot, so that worked out well for me. She was like a super hippie, which was like new to me and not really like anything I'd been exposed to before, um, but not in any sort of gross way or anything like that. She was really hot, and um, she was a really good conversationalist. So we had a lot of long talks, which was it turns out was really good because I actually went to a boarding school for high school, so this ended up being a long term relationship. Uh, but I tend to like my girls kind of thick, you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So
Who doesn't?
that was my first experience with that, which was great. It was kind of right off the bat. It was everything was as it should be, to
Hmm.
say to say the least. Um, yeah, long talks. She was into long talks first. And well, I had to clarify a hippie, not in a gross way, because I've known some pretty gross hippies.
They
Like,
can't help it
not
sometimes,
to fair.
like it's their lifestyle.
Yes, let's
Sometimes.
be fair. Yeah, they're
Like
the
I've known
all
hippies who
natural
did
thing.
not have indoor plumbing.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow, like by choice.
by choice, because that's where they lived in like a hippie place.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. Wow.
Wow. Wow.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, not like that
Wow.
at all. She was she was just really into like I don't know, free spirited things, the mindset and everything like that.
Yeah.
Um she was way into smoking weed long before I was ever even when I was still super goody two shoes and wouldn't even dream. Um Funny story about this girl. So my first job was at McDonald's of all places, and I guess that's not uncommon. But I'm home from for vacation. I'm working at McDonald's, and I get to talking on one of my breaks with one of the guys who works there, and I'm about to bring up something about this girl, and I was like, "Hey, man, do you know Julie?" And he's like, "Oh yeah," and he goes, and he like makes a humping motion, like yeah, like oh yeah, she's hot, and I was like, "Yeah, that's my girlfriend." He's like, "Oh."
Oops.
So, yeah.
That's
Um,
great.
yeah, there was nothing like so. I learned a lot of things about that whole thing because it was a long distance relationship and like that was really rough.
Yeah.
Um, I was also way too young to have a super serious long term relationship and a super serious long term relationship from afar. So it ended up ending in kind of a bad way. She ended up cheating on me with a dude in her high school, and like,
Ow.
of course, I was very broken up about that at the time. But like, you know, since I've grown up, I realized like that's I don't know, it wasn't the right thing to do. It still wasn't the right thing to do. But at the end of the day, we were like teenagers, and like I don't know, I wasn't around. And by that point in our relationship, we had definitely been fading,
Yeah.
and so that was my first experience with that because I was like a serial monogamist. All my relationships were super long, super serious, in it for the forever. Not unlike Chris.
I'm gonna marry you.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah. It
15.
was a little too
Yeah,
much, right?
didn't
Yeah.
have an accent though. Okay.
I'm glad he didn't.
So you broke up with her then, or she broke up with you, or
It was a weird thing. So I this might be something we might want to bring up on kind of a different week, but I got in a big spat of trouble at school and got grounded pretty hard. So got in a lot of trouble at school, which led to me being grounded for basically, I was told the entire summer. It turned out to be most of that. And the only way to talk to my girlfriend was to use a like a paid card. These days we don't worry about long distance unless it's like country to country or something like that. But in those days, there were literally payphones throughout the school, phone booth type things, so you could have private conversations and call your parents or whatever. In our case, obviously girls as often as possible, but that had to be through a phone card. And so, my parents had given me a phone card that I could use to call them, and they'd also allowed me to have, limited contact with her so that I don't run up the bill on that card as well. So I made one of those calls, had to explain to her all this trouble I got in, and said like, hey, so basically I kind of want to warn you, I don't know how this is going to work, but I am grounded for like the whole summer. And she's like, oh no, that's fine. I don't really want to be in a relationship right now either. And I was like, what?
Okay.
Not what I was saying. But
Hey,
okay.
that's good. She found it out.
No, it was not good. It was not good at all, because I had just found out that I had just gotten in all this trouble, and then I just got grounded for the whole summer, and then I lost my girlfriend, and I was just like, God damn it.
Well,
I am
that's what happens.
batting 1,000 freshman year of high school. Woo!
Is that like a baseball term?
I don't know. I'm probably
I
getting it
don't
wrong.
know.
I don't follow baseball, so I shouldn't use those kinds of references. But yeah, so that was the I'm cutting out a whole lot because I was very, very in love with that girl, and she was very, like, I mentioned the cheating at the end and like the misunderstanding opportunity she took to kind of break up with me, but I don't have hard feelings toward her, and it was hard feelings. But she was my first in a lot of things, and and so I don't know, we have very fond memories actually. So
You're so boring.
thanks.
Just having so many fond memories. Like he was just such a
That's
nice
not
guy.
true about all of them, believe me. Well, look, okay, so in terms of being boring, what's your worst relationship then? Let's go with that, because that can't be boring at all. Oh yeah,
The worst one.
Give me the worst.
The worst one. Okay. This is a story. And it's kind of embarrassing, and it's not actually all that funny, but
Okay.
So I met somebody online. That happens to me a lot when I see things online. I'm just like, I want that. I'm gonna get it. But I started talking to this guy online, and we kind of had a mutual friend. And I had recently broken up with a guy that I really liked in college. Like it was the first time that I'd been with somebody where I was just like, I really, really like you, like I'd never wanted to marry anybody before. Like I was never the type of girl that would dream about like her wedding day or anything like that. Like I just didn't really care. But when I was with that guy, I was just like, I couldn't help it. Like I would think about it sometimes. And he dumped me. He dumped me hard, like hard, like bad dump, like just, but looking back on it, I was probably asking for it. But that's another story. Anyway,
Jesus.
So I just been dumped, and then I tried to rebound on my friend's friend, and he rejected me. So that hurt, because that had never happened before.
Ouch.
So, I was online and started talking to this guy, and he actually lived in Ireland. So, he had just broken up with his only girlfriend, and we were both rebounding with each other, and we both kind of knew it, but we were just like, nah, that's not it. This is a different thing. Like this is, we really like each other. Like this is a thing that is different. So, he lived in Northern Ireland, and he had just, I can't remember if he had finished university or if he just kind of stopped going. Probably that.
Okay.
But we didn't really have that much in common, except, for the fact that we were both really rebounding. So we talked a lot, and for a few months, and it was interesting because like one of the things we did have in common, and this is something that I want to talk about because this was a huge mistake that I made, and I don't want anybody to make this mistake. Back then, I was like super jelly. I've got some daddy issues, and he was also super, super jelly. And so we thought, oh, it's so cute that we're both so jealous. And like, he'd be like, oh, I'm going to an office party. And I'd be like, oh, are there girls there? And he'd be like, yes, I'm sorry. And then I'd be like, I've got to go to work. And he'd be like, oh, are there guys there? And I'm like, oh, yes, I'm so sorry. And he's like, no, don't go. There's guys there, blah, blah, blah.
Mm.
And, it was like,
wait, but was it fake dramatic like that or was it real?
it felt real, but it's just like we're like, oh, isn't that so cute that we're just like so jealous together? Like that's cute. So like since it made me feel good when he would not go out, I would not go out because of him. And so we entered this like fucking horrible jealousy, completely ridiculous circle jerk of like not going anywhere or doing anything or giving up opportunities and stuff because of each other.
Yeah.
And so eventually like he comes to visit and everything's fine. And I go to visit him at one point and everything, it's fine. Like it's fun. It's nice to be together and stuff. But we were just absolutely terrible for each other. And like, I thought I had jealousy issues, but he had issues, like just like he wouldn't let me do anything. And we were just kind of dating and it was super long distance because like I'm in Canada, he's in Ireland. So like it's fucked up, but like we're in this relationship and he's telling me not to go and do things. He's telling me to not hang out with my friends and stuff like that. And I'm cool with that. So eventually I go and live there. I go and live in Ireland for a while.
Long story short, I go live there. That's quite the jump.
I fucking go live there.
Okay.
And he's like, oh, I got this apartment picked out. It's totally great. We'll go and live there. So we go there and it's a shithole. And somebody had recently broken into it. Wow. And this is the first time that I've lived away from home ever. So I'm in another country. First experience. Yes. With this dude who has manipulated me already and I don't know it. Because I've never been manipulated like this before.
Yeah.
And so we go and we live with his mom for like a month until we find another place in Belfast. And it's this like horrible Irish ghetto near a university. So there's pranksters everywhere. And like, I don't want to sound like I'm generalizing, but like there's just drunk people all over the place, just everywhere all the time. And people being mean and just like dangerous, like mean people, being drunk on the streets. So, I'm alone and I'm trying desperately to get a job. Like I have a work visa because I'm Canadian and, Northern Ireland is part of the Commonwealth. So like, I'm trying to get a job. Nobody wants to hire me because they think I'm American. Like they don't, a lot of people don't like Americans over there. So
that was the reason. Did they tell you that?
I'm just like, I'm Canadian. I'm not American. I'm sorry. Like, I am.
Because that's what all smart American travelers say is that they're Canadian.
Exactly. Thanks a lot, guys. But
not me. I have a big fucking flag on my back. Goes America.
I can't understand people's slang and their accents are really hard to understand. So there's that as well. So like, I can't get a job to save my fucking life. He doesn't want to get a job. So we're living off of his welfare, I guess. And whatever money my family sends me, but I don't have a rich family. Like we're fucking poor. So we're living in this place. He somehow convinces me that him going out to see his friends is not something that I should do because I won't have any fun. Lovely. So that became a thing. So like he would go out almost every night and buy alcohol and hang out with his friends. And I found out later
on your unemployment, your shared unemployment check.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I didn't have unemployment. It was just his. So it was like,
that's what I mean. They're shared.
Yeah.
Like
he goes out and like, I'm in this apartment and it's not very safe. And, I've got a baseball bat and, I thought that he was just going to his friend's place, but like he's going out to bars and stuff and he's, coming home super drunk and, He would
Because
have
Irish.
because he was an asshole.
Ah,
And so like he's doing these things and like the fucked upest part was that I actually had a friend from high school, a girl living really close by with her family that I knew for like the whole time I was there, but somehow he convinced me that going to visit her and talking to her wasn't something that I should do. So I didn't.
wow, this guy had
It was
some
just
mind games
yeah,
going.
like I had no idea, and the whole time like I'm super depressed, but I think I'm homesick.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
oh no, it's not the relationship, it's not my situation. It's just that I'm homesick. I miss Canada. That's the thing that's wrong with this whole thing.
Wow.
So I remember at one point he finally had a job interview, and uh, so I'm like super excited because it's like this means like we can get like food. We could maybe get
Food's
internet
good.
because we didn't have any. We could maybe
No
get
internet.
cable because we didn't have any. We had 3 channels and one of them was in Irish, so I didn't understand it. And maybe we could you pay for like heat and electricity over there. Like you go to the corner store and you buy like how many hours worth of electricity you want. We could
Wow.
get more of that.
So you went without electricity sometimes?
Times. So fucking
Wow. This guy
got this
is.
interview
I should have
and
gone first.
yeah,
This is horrible already.
pretty bad. So he goes out the night before and comes home like 5 a.m. And he's not waking up for that interview. It's because it's at like 7 or 9 or something. I don't
great.
remember.
Yeah, I love
And
it.
I got so angry that okay, who has done this before? You take your fucking cell phone and it's like the thing that you're holding. And I had this was like 2007. It was like this little like pay as you go cell phone that I could like call my family on
Was it
once
like
in
a
a blue
flip phone?
moon. It didn't even have a flip. It was just like anyway. I was so angry that I came in and I'm like, wake up, like you're gonna fucking miss this interview. And he's like yelling at me because I'm waking him up and shit. And so I fucking throw the phone on the ground and it
Wow.
breaks. It's just like the stupidest thing, like throwing your cell phone.
Yeah.
Pro tip: when you're angry, don't ever pick up your phone. Just leave it, because you're gonna regret it. It's like when you're holding a controller, like back when I used to play console games.
Yeah.
It's like stupid Wii.
What's
I'm
going
not good
first?
at the Wii.
Remember how they had to put the wrist things on it because
Yeah.
at first people were throwing the shit,
Yeah.
breaking
well,
their
let's see.
TVs.
So I just, I was being super controlled and I just wanted to go home. And finally, his mom paid for a flight home. So I'm going home.
Jesus.
I remember
That was nice of him.
the night before we were leaving, he went out. So I had to pack up the entire fucking apartment. And he
Wow.
comes back at like 5 a.m. and he's like banging on the door because he's got people with him for the first time. I've never met any of his friends, by the way. Most of them are girls. I'm not allowed to talk to guys, so that was kind of weird. I'm holding a
Wow.
baseball bat. One of the girls calls me crazy. I'm like, maybe I fucking am. I don't know,
At
But,
this point, you were being driven crazy, that's for sure.
Yeah, a little bit. So we go back to Canada. He hangs out at, like, I'm living with my mom. Like, I was living with my mom and my brother before I left. He comes to there. We live there. And, like, I'm working 2-3 jobs to try to, figure shit out. And he gets addicted to EVE Online. So, as soon as I get back to Canada, I'm playing WoW, so
Yeah.
I'm staying downstairs away from him. He's hanging out upstairs away from me. He's playing EVE, I'm playing WoW, and we're not really talking to each other, and I'm working and he's not working. And I was just like super depressed, and like all my friends wanted to see me, of course, because I'm back from Ireland,
Yeah.
and he's not letting me see any of them.
Wow.
And so my best friend back in Canada is this really awesome dude named Kevin, and like we've been like hanging out forever, and we've been in bands together and stuff, and he's been like my brother for a long time. And I remember one day Kevin was like, can I please see you? Can you please just come over? And I'm like, you know what? Okay. So I left without saying anything to the dude. I think he was probably asleep or something. And I hung out with Kevin for a few hours. And when I came back, I was like, oh yeah, I can go and do stuff like that if I want to, because I literally didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
Interesting. So that kind of like started, like pushing down the dominoes, you know? Like I'm
Yeah.
just like, wait a minute.
Good.
What the fuck? Like I started like getting some semblance of myself back, and I'm just like I'm looking back on all of the shit that I agreed to without question, and like all of the things that were okay suddenly in my head somehow that he made okay, and it was fucked up. So his visitor visa ran out, so he had to go back to Ireland, and he's like, okay, I'll go back and I'll get set up and then you come over. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So
All right, sure.
he leaves, and like this is the first time we've been separated in like year and a half or something like that. And it's fucking awesome. It's awesome.
'Cause you
Like, it's
got
fucking
your
great.
life back finally.
Yeah. And so I've got a stable job, and I'm playing WoW all the time, and like I've got all these, like I wasn't allowed to see people IRL in Canada when we moved back. So I've got all of these friends. This is when I joined Blood of the Scribe and Boulder Fist US. So like, you know, that's starting up. And like I met you around that time too online.
Yep.
Like we became friends, and I got a dog, and you know, everything was going really well, and I started being less and less available when he like messaged me and stuff like that. And eventually like I just stopped caring. I didn't want to talk to him anymore. Like I was enjoying my freedom, and I kind of did that thing where like you don't want to be with somebody anymore, so you just kind of like let the whole thing fizzle out, you know? Like the coward's way out. But I didn't know what to do. I was kind of afraid to just, you know, tell him goodbye and stuff like that. But I remember it was like Valentine's Day or something like that, like something really really important day. And he called me a bitch or something like that. And you know what? I was like, you know what? I'm done. This is done. This is done. We're over. So yay, it's over. But oh no, it was not over.
Oh.
Oh no, it was not over.
Oh my
No,
God.
no, because you can't just tell a crazy person that it's over.
Yeah.
So, this guy, you know, he's begging to be friends still, and I'm like, nah, no. And so he's like, okay, well, you know, I'm gonna kill myself, and I'm like,
That's lovely. That's
okay, great.
Wonderful.
So maybe we will be friends, because like I know that like, you know, this is a tactic that some people use when they're broken up with, but I had never experienced it at this point. And so you know, he's starting to kill himself, and I feel terrible. So I'm like emailing his mother. I'm like, he says he's gonna kill himself, and she's like, no, it's fine. And I it's weird because like she doesn't talk that way, so I'm thinking maybe he like got into her email and like was messaging me as her.
Mm-hmm.
He became obsessed with the idea of having naked photos of me. He's like, can I just have this? Can I just have a naked photo of you to remember you by, because I don't have any? Can I just have this? And
Wow.
like that was like one of the weirdest things. Like he's just like, I need this from you. And I'm just like, no, we're broken up. No. So he starts emailing me as like this like photographer, and he's like, oh, you know, I'm a friend of your ex's, and I think that you'd be really good as a model if you wanted to send me some shots and stuff like
Wow.
this. And I'm like, no, that's okay. And then he starts like emailing my friends as other people, at, you know, trying to get information about me and trying to get photos of
Wow.
me and stuff like that. And shit, what else did he do? The last time I like spoke with him, like in a conversation, he was on video, and he pulled out a fucking butcher knife, and he's like, I'm gonna kill myself. And I'm just like,
My God.
I don't care anymore. Like I don't. So I was just like, you know what? We're done. So I shut that down. I think it was on Skype. And I emailed his mother one last time. I'm like, listen, he just pulled out a knife. I don't know what's up. I'm done. This is over. Like
Yeah.
if he kills himself, like I'm done. Can't do this anymore. So that's not it. So then he starts emailing me.
Just when you think it's over.
Yeah, and he starts
Jesus
like
Christ.
emailing me these like really mean emails, and then finally he emails me this email telling me that he's going to come back to Canada and kidnap me. So at this
Jesus
point,
Christ.
like that's too far, you know, like this is
Well,
him
this is
threatening.
way beyond too far.
Oh
This
yeah,
is this
it
is
was
light
it was
years
just
beyond too
way
far
too much.
at this point.
So
Jesus Christ.
I went to the police because I'm like, it's like,
Well,
is that a weed?
we were
I'm calling the
talking
police.
we were talking by then, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I remember this part,
Oh
and
yeah, I
the
was telling
cops were
everybody about this shit.
absolutely the right choice.
So went to the cops, printed out all the emails, took it to the cops, and I had to write out a statement, and I had to bring in photos of him, and the cops like, I can't do anything really besides like send an official email telling him to stay away from you. But the fact that he lived here in this small town in Canada and knows exactly where you are, like this is still like important.
Yeah.
So I wrote out the statement and everything. I remember he gave me a ride in the cop car back to work because I had to go during a work day. And I guess the cop emailed him or his mom. I'm not really sure, but like the last thing I ever said to him was in an email saying that I would never, under any circumstances, ever speak to him ever again. Ever. Ever. Never. In any way. And then I just let the cops take it from there. And thankfully, like that was pretty much that. Like I got the odd message like a few months later, and then a few months later after that, like I think on my birthday or something like that. But
couple times, a few years after, on your birthday in particular.
Yeah. So
nice of him to remember.
Yeah, like thankfully, like
Fucking
nothing
creep.
scary happened, but it was really shitty, and it was so interesting because like all of this shit, like all of the crazy batshit, I'm gonna kill myself, I'm gonna kidnap you stuff, happened while we were like between countries. Like I was in Canada, he was in Ireland, so like it's stupid that like somebody that far away can have such a big influence on like what's going on, but it can't. Like it really can. So that was a really shitty thing to go through, and I regret a lot of it. But at the same time, like it taught me a lot about what I need to do and what I need to look out for in a relationship and what I like and what I don't like, obviously. And I can't stress enough like how scarily easy it is to mistake love for manipulation.
Yeah.
Like I think of myself as like a reasonably intelligent person, not like with math or directions or maps or science or anything important like that. But I, at least like I usually know when people are being mean to me. So it's just, it's so weird to look back on the person that I became and just like if I was there now, like if I was in that situation right now, if I went back in time and saw myself in Ireland, just sitting around by myself, worrying about being like broken into and like having to swing a bat at somebody, like living on no food and like no contact, no internet, no anything, and like getting I remember one time I decided to go for a walk without him, and he got so angry that he like kicked the wall and broke his foot or something like that. Like just fucking put up with that shit. Like nobody should put up with that shit.
No.
Like if I was there, I'd be like, what the fuck are you doing? Like don't put up with that shit. So anyway, that was definitely the worst relationship that I ever had. And yeah, that sucked. And I hope that
you win. Well, thanks everybody for joining us tonight. That was it's been a good show. Lessons learned here.
Sorry.
No, without like jokes aside, the biggest thing that I think is kind of important to call out is just that these things are long-term things, right? Like you can look back on this now. First of all, I have a billion questions, and I've heard most of this before, whereas these guys haven't. I'm sure there's tons more, but I just want to make like a mental note check for a moment and just say, this is the sort of thing that happens over a very long period of time. It's rooted in what seems like positive relationship things. This is not something you just get tricked into in a short term. No. This is absolute like mental abuse on a large scale.
Yeah, but like the stars aligned in a bad way. This whole, like the whole being on the rebound and, commiserating together and being jealous together, like there were warning signs. There were so many, and I didn't know. Like I just wanted to believe in love. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that. You just have to be smart about it. And I'm sorry I'm such a huge downer, you guys, but like It's okay now. Like everything's fine.
Yeah.
It's just, everybody's got that. Well, everybody has or will have, I suppose, that one relationship that's just like, ugh,
Yeah.
ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, chat asked about halfway through how I'm going to top this. Spoilers, I'm not. Um, this that's a story of a bad relationship that turned into some abuse, and I'm really glad. I think we're all really glad that you got out of it and that you're hopefully okay now.
Oh, totally,
Um,
totally, totally. That was
and
ages
you
ago.
haven't
It's all good.
heard from him in a while,
No,
right?
not at all.
Good,
Not at all.
good. Well, if you're out there, dude, fuck you, you piece of shit. And my lame story now is that my my worst relationship was a girl who cheated on me a whole bunch. Um, but there were also a lot of mental gymnastics going on as well. So um, they're not comparable in the least. But it's a girl I dated in. So let me tell the story. I dated a girl in college. You mentioned like it's not a good thing to walk into the first day of class and pick out a new boyfriend. Well, I walked into the first day of junior year in college in my dorm and picked out a girlfriend, and so
Shit.
or sorry, sophomore year. Yeah, same shit. A little later in life, when I probably should have known better already, but no, I remember telling my friends, I pointed them out to my friends, and then when we got out of earshot, I said, "She will be mine." Oh yes,
Oh
she will
my
be
god.
mine. And then I got her, and I was really happy about that because she was cool and she was cute, and like she wanted to hang out with the guys and like all that sort of thing, and that was a really good thing for a college relationship because you don't. It was actually the opposite of my relationship before, where I had a girlfriend who really wanted me to be separate and away with just her, and like that was a, keep us in this little compartment kind of thing. Whereas she's very much like a hey, let's chill with everybody kind of thing, which is cool. Um, and so everything started really well, as most relationships do. But then the school year ended, and looking back on this conversation, I think this was my best indicator that I was a really idiot, a really foolish idiot, thinking that I could have a long term committed relationship with this girl. Because again, um, you know, serial monogamist. Every relationship was a long term one, multiple years, all that sort of thing. Um, and then with this girl, she was just not long term relationship material. Also, side note of a really big lesson that I learned that I've tried to pass on to friends of mine that I know since then. College is a really, really unique situation. College is a time in your life when you have a bunch of other people who are your age living in the same place, or at least in the same place in a on a regular basis because maybe you're commuting or something like that. But you're surrounded by people your own age, and it's kind of like the time in your life to try things out and figure it out and be involved in with a bunch of people and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
It is not the best time to really settle down into a long-term
No.
committed relationship.
No, that's when you experiment.
Right, and that's what I did instead was just have a series of long relationships instead, and then I was a complete whore in between the relationships. So this was not one of those, but I really had a really good time with her at first, and then when things should have ended, they instead got complicated. And so first she went home for vacation, and looking back on the conversation, she told me kind of in no uncertain terms that she had this old boyfriend from home, and that when she went home, they kind of picked things up where they left off,
Nice.
which is a big red flag. And if
She's
I had
like, yeah, I'm
understood
gonna
that,
just have a little side dish as well.
yeah,
That's okay though, because I'm just telling you about it now. So
yeah. So, yeah, didn't catch that at the time. Did not understand what she was saying. She was trying to tell me that's what she was going to do. But I didn't get. She wasn't straightforward about it, and I didn't read between the lines. So,
right.
There's another lesson was ask questions, be clear. Communication's a big deal. That's a really old
Yeah, but in college,
kind of tired thing. But yeah, but again, you have to have these shitty relationships to get there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she goes home and has her own relationship with this other guy or whoever else or whatever over the summer. Meanwhile, I got bitches throwing themselves at me left and right. I'm not even kidding,
Sure.
because these are some of the biggest these are some of the biggest regrets I had from college. You just said that's the time to experiment, and boy, did I have some opportunities there. And instead, I was like, no, 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 I'm in a committed relationship, and I didn't participate. And there were, three very clear opportunities that there was no room for. It was dead clear. Example: I was about to go on a trip during that summer, and the night before leaving, I'm in my apartment. I've got one of the friends over that I'm about to go on the trip with. He's helping me pack, just keep me company, that sort of thing. And this girl who's kind of been on the periphery, she just asked, she could come over out of the blue, and so she came over, and I said, that's perfect. Let's hang a little bit. You can help keep me company while I pack, that sort of thing, because I'm going to be out of town for like pretty much the rest of the summer. And so she comes right over. She hangs out, and then there are a few people over. My roommates at the time, they go to bed. Other people leave. My friend who I'm traveling with, he goes home. Suddenly, she's the only one left.
Oh shit!
So like these are I'm not kidding when I say there are situations where it was abundantly clear that, shit could go down.
Right.
So what did I do? I gave
What'd
her
you
some
do?
things to sleep in, and I gave her a place to rest, and I went to bed because I was in a committed relationship. Motherfucker.
Meanwhile,
Yeah. Meanwhile, getting cheated on like crazy, and then so she came back and was like really unclear about the status of our relationship. So suddenly we were like not necessarily still in a relationship anymore. So there was a lot of mind games going on with this. And then she had, oh yeah, chat. She stayed the night, but she stayed the night fully clothed, in my bed, fully clothed, untouched. So fucking white hat bullshit, white knight, fucking kiss my ass
White hat?
bullshit, whatever.
what does that mean?
God damn it. I don't know. It's a frustration. Yeah. So missed opportunities, friends. But so there was an underlying lesson in this. Make sure you're getting from your relationship what you give,
Yeah.
because that was a big one. Yeah, I know, Milwaukee, because this all went down at Marquette, by the way. Milwaukee. In Milwaukee. So yeah, I would say that's my worst relationship, because I'm giving a few examples, but there were also a lot of examples where when things started to fade. For example, I was not one to be controlling or whatever. So when she started to say things like, "Oh, I'm gonna go out tonight," I'd be like, "Oh, what are you doing?" She'd be like, just going out with some friends." That's a red flag. The whole like, I'm gonna go out, but I'm gonna be secretive about it. I'm not gonna tell you what happened or what went on. And I was like, oh well, again, I trust you and whatever, and I don't care. Like whatever you want to do, that's your business. And nope, wrong answer. Because she's just going out and doing whatever she wanted to, and letting me be nice about it, letting me be trusting about it, and fully knowing that she was fucking around on me, and just letting that be okay. Like, just a terrible way to treat somebody. So
Yeah.
there was a long series of examples like that makes that one by far my worst relationship.
I'm sorry.
Now, she didn't threaten to kill herself, and there was not an international incident involving police or anything like that. So I think I might have missed a whole lot of support for you in chat here, and that's really cool that everybody was
Oh yeah,
kind of stepping
yeah.
up to say.
Thank you guys. I'm sorry I didn't mean to make you guys feel upset. No, it's totally fine now. It's
If you need anything though, Draven will take care of it.
Oh yeah, yeah. We'll take care of it. No, it's cool. It's I don't think about those times anymore because you don't need to. I just I don't have any like certainly don't like this person, but like I don't have any hard feelings anymore. Like I don't care. I just genuinely don't care about this person anymore. So it's all good. And that's all you can really do. It's just like when you go through a bad relationship, you just kind of have to appreciate that you've learned something, I guess, and move on. Because like not everybody is gonna cheat on you and threaten to kill themselves and kidnap you.
No, those are the outliers.
Yeah, like lots of people are going to be really nice to you. You just you need to keep trying. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. don't ever give up because it's always worth it when
Yeah.
you find somebody that's amazing, no matter how long it lasts. Like if you can be with somebody amazing for as long as you can be, then that's good.
Yeah. Okay, let's flip the script from people being bad to us being bad to other people. What are some of the things that you've done wrong in past relationships that
Let's
you would have
see.
changed or that you might regret?
Mhm. Uh, I I think like towards the end of high school and certainly through college, I was having a lot of issues with jealousy and just like the dude that I mentioned that I really liked. Um, I he had a lot of issues as well, and he just wanted to hang out with his bros all of the time. And that's fine, you know,
Bros,
like
bros
I
before hoes.
yeah, but he was like a very social person and I was and am and always will be, I guess. You know, somebody who's like, you know, I'm gonna hang out online with my friends. So I didn't like he was a huge nerd and stuff and I wanted to I wanted that to be who he was, but it wasn't, you know, like the overarching like personality was like he wanted to go out and be social and be like the typical college guy and like go and get drunk and high and party and stuff like that with his friends. And there was absolutely nothing wrong with that. Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing at all. But I couldn't handle it, you know? And so I would always just, you know, make him feel guilty for things like that. And uh, I just hadn't learned my lesson yet. You know, like I hadn't learned that like, you know, people can go out and have fun and terrible things aren't going to happen. And just because like,
Yeah.
you know, definitely more likely bad things are going to happen if the person isn't inebriated, but like probably not, you know, like if you trust the person, probably not. But I just hadn't learned that yet. So
Yeah.
unfortunately, like, you know, I was probably terrible a lot of the time and
Like how?
making him feel really bad. Just,
Oh,
you know, like he'd go out to party and like I would hate it. And then I'd like call him and text him all night. He'd be like, everything's fine. Holy shit.
mm,
You know? And then I'd be like sullen about it later on. And like he'd have to ask if he could go and hang out with his friends or like go out on the weekends or stuff like that. And like you shouldn't have to do shit like that. So, uh, you know, like he wasn't perfect either, but like
yeah.
I just had a lot to learn. Like I was very,
So, so did you realize that at the time, or wasn't it like not until
no, I
after?
had no idea.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
And when you realized it, what did you? How did you decide to handle that? Like,
Um, I don't know. I think I just kind of grew out of it and like it when I finally grew out of that stuff, like he was long gone. Like this was ages later.
sure.
But it just sort of like started to mature a little bit. I think the hormones come down a little bit. Um, and I just kind of learned the hard way that like you can trust people sometimes and that like the worst isn't always going to happen. Um, but that's, you know, when you've got issues like that, it's hard to get over those things. But
Sure.
once you do, it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. What about you?
You know, I'm trying to remember specific. Like, I'm having trouble remembering specifics. I think it's more about. I think the things that I did wrong the most were again the long term relationships. That was just kind of a bad idea, and not all of those relationships should have been long term. So one of the things very specifically was to hold on to those relationships for way too long. I know that's probably a relatively common one, but it's a mistake that I made a number of times before I ever got over it. I'm not sure I ever figured it out. I think I just kept making that mistake. So, um, I don't know. I think I did a lot of fooling myself on the value of the relationships at the time, and the other one was what I mentioned before in terms of I wasn't learning about people who weren't putting into the relationships what I was, and that extended to friendships too. I had a number of friendships that I was really hurt by when like something major went down, and then I found out that they really weren't the close friends that I thought they were, and that's pretty devastating as well. You know,
Yeah.
um, now, some of those things like you just have to have them happen so you can learn from them, and some of those things are just like it seems clear cut afterward, but it's trying to think back to what was happening at the time. It's really hard to realize in the moment that these things are going down. You know, so like it's also not something that even as clear as it may be to you now, I would say one of the biggest things I've learned is that you can't hold this stuff against yourself, you know?
No.
Because
Like
it's
these
just
are all
like, yeah,
it's just it sucks because like they're important life lessons that you need to learn with somebody else.
yeah,
You know, like you can't just sit around on your own and one day, you know, discover, oh, I shouldn't do that in a relationship. That makes sense. I'll
yeah,
make a note of that. You know, it's like you
yeah.
literally have to go through bullshit with somebody else and like you're gonna get hurt or they're gonna get hurt or you're both gonna get hurt and that just like makes everything worse and it's just like there's some of like the hardest life lessons that you'll ever have to learn. So it's just sucks, brah.
Yeah. And then there was that time that I was in a threesome and the girls ended up dating each other instead, which was really
Shit.
rough. That didn't happen.
Oh.
I was just trying to
Wow,
liven
I
things
like
up a little
fully believed that.
bit.
I was like, oh really? Oh, that sucks.
Thank you.
That sucks.
No. But Sadistic said that because of past relationships, even to this day, I still have trouble trusting people. And then L Train said, I'm the opposite, still way too trusting despite my past. I'm much more like you, L Train, but I know so many people who are like you, Sadistic, and the only thing I can say to that is that like you can't let the relationship terrorists win. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
The only thing you can do is just keep trying, despite how you feel, despite
Yeah.
what you think you might do or not do. Like
Yeah.
the only thing you can do is keep putting yourself out there and keep taking chances. Like
Yeah.
if you don't take chances in
and why?
love and relationships, why?
Why is it worth doing that? Because I feel like
Because
that's the natural question is why would I keep putting myself out there, you know, when I keep getting hurt? What's the point?
because when it pays off, regardless of whether it's a long-term payoff or a short-term or whatever, like it's better to have loved than never to have loved at all. Like
Yeah.
it's worth it. And if it ends badly or if it ends too soon, you know, you're left with those lessons and maybe the same old shit happened to you again, but you have to remember that every person that you go after or goes after you is a different person and they're going to give you different results. So, you know, you just kind of have to put on your science outfit and break out the beakers and shit and, you know, just make a bunch of hypotheses and just try out different people, you know, until you find the right one.
That's right.
But it's worth it in the end.
Yeah.
Really.
I agree
So,
wholeheartedly. I wanted to say that just because I wanted to make that point. I think
Yeah.
it's a really important one that there's a lot of good to be had in this world and in this life. And honestly, like you don't get there if you're not taking those chances. It hurts, and you gotta go through that to get to the good stuff sometimes, unfortunately.
Yep. That's true.
But we are almost at show's end.
Yeah, this was a like not funny show.
This is a little more somber than I think we
I'm
expected.
sorry, guys. Like this was not funny at all.
Maybe we should have talked about our worst relationships because it was maybe a little bit.
Yeah, it was bad. That was bad shit.
Ty Mankey says, "Create your Ian." You pull out your science beakers and you make some weird science.
Weird Science. Isn't that like a
Yeah,
movie?
An 80s
Yeah.
movie. Oh yeah.
Oh,
Where they
and it
made
was
their own
also
hot
like
chick.
fucking Aerosmith video, wasn't there? Where he like made a girl.
I don't know.
Oh fuck. Was that? Did I dream that? Help me.
I don't know. You might have dreamt that one.
No,
But I
man.
do want to say,
Fuck.
Basting Root Wallace said in chat to try to remember the practice and principle that each person we engage with or start with to form a relationship is a completely different and unique individual. And I feel like that's a really important point because, you know, that's
Yeah.
a good thing to end on. Thank you, Root Walla.
That's right. That's what I'm saying. Everybody's going to give you a different result, and you know, it's good to have standards, and it's good to know what you want and what you don't want. But at the same time, just like give love a chance.
Yeah.
Listen to fucking rock and roll. Rock and roll will tell you what to do.
Yeah. Yeah. And we got much more. We'll do some of these personal sharing TMI shows from time to time, and then other times we'll just do stupid, funny shit.
Yeah, like I
appreciate you
would
guys hanging with it either way.
Yeah, I would prefer that this stream be funny. And I assure everybody who's new, our podcast about Blizzard games, lagging balls, is funny. Like that's what we do. We have a good time. I thought that this would be like more juicy and more funny, but it's just, you know.
Yeah,
Not-
maybe we should have talked about like past sexual relationships. That might have been more fun.
Yeah. Like, one time,
Maybe another
this
time.
guy saw my dick and he was like, "Whoa, I didn't see that coming." I'm like, That's what they all say. I don't have a penis though.
All right,
But if
guys,
I did, you guys would be done, wrecked. Like
it's
that
well
Torbjorn
known.
made today. Do you guys see that? Jeff Kaplan brought the fucking hammer down on this fucking OTP.
We gotta put the
And
link in the show
oh
notes
my
here.
god. Torbjorn. Suck it. Sorry.
All right, guys.
Should we go into post show?
We should go into post show here. Hold on. Let's bring up the music. Let's put up the thing. And we're back for some post show, but we're gonna let that music roll in the back.
Hello.
Yeah, 80s baby.
Yeah. So I'm sorry.
Yeah. Thanks everybody for coming. It was a good episode. Learned a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess it's like it's a shitty thing to talk about, but it doesn't bother me anymore. So.
Yeah, that's the good thing is that like at least you weren't recounting something that had like happened recently and that you were like traumatized from. I would say you have blossomed into a wonderful, wonderful person as a result. Well, not as a result, but afterward.
You piece of shit.
Toxic as fuck.
Me?
Jeff.
How?
Jeff.
I'm sorry. I was
Toxic.
just doing. I was doing some twos with like a random warrior. I think it was awesome. Like we won like 4 out of 6 matches.
Mm-hmm.
It was just fucking awesome.
4 out of 6.
Yeah.
Nice.
Like we were just wrecking, and then this shaman, I think it was a shaman rogue team, like killed us. Like we got them twice because we were like queuing at the same time. Fuck, like that rogue just got me every time. Like, and I said to the dude too, I was just like, I can do a lot of damage, but I'm not that good overall. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I can't help you when the rogue does that sneaky shit. Like it's just, I can't. But like.
Was it still like stun locked until dead?
No, I mean a little bit, but
God, I hate that.
Yeah,
it just makes it not very fun.
When I go up against rogues, like I've got all these like mage tricks that I use, like blinking and ice blocking and you know all that stuff. But I run out of tricks with rogues, so it's just like. But it's cool because like I'm doing the skirmishes because it's a skirmish bonus week, and I'm getting that old PvP feeling.
Yeah.
You know, that I used to get in BGs. I don't feel that anymore.
Like hands shaking and like.
Yeah, like hands sweaty, mom spaghetti.
Mom spaghetti.
Like I had to take off my sweater even though it was really cold because it was just like, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was fucking great. So I was I was a little aggro when we started the shows. But yeah, that's what I've been up to.
Yeah. Hey, Joey made a suggestion in chat for the next Patreon hangout. Some viewer participation with some of their own stories.
That'd be great.
Some more of the juice.
Cool. Yeah, I love hearing about people's relationships, even if they are really sad.
Yeah.
That's
like some of the best stuff of life, though, isn't it?
Yep.
It's like the shit that's like the super highs and the super lows.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. It's like why we like to hear about celebrities like getting together and then breaking up and shit. Like I don't give 2 shits about 90% of celebrities, but like when I hear that some shit's going down, I'm like, oh really?
Yeah.
Tell me about it. I don't care.
Popcorn.
Yeah, get rid of that popcorn. Yeah. Yeah, that's why I thought that this would be a good idea, but maybe it wasn't. I'm not sure. But yeah, we'll talk about boogers next week.
Look, everybody said they were just. It's nice to get to know some of the. Look, these are the things that are the building blocks of the people you know today, guys. So I appreciate that you noticed that perspective.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a big believer in just like being an open book about things like that because it's helpful to people sometimes.
Yeah. Thanks,
Not all the
Nameen.
time. Yeah. Thanks, Nameen. But yeah.
This chat is pretty like spot on too. Like on the screen that we're looking at, the chat is like pulled in like in real time. That's pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah, that works out pretty well. We're learning this whole streaming thing.
Slowly.
I just can't get it to stay on stream longer. It's either there
Okay.
forever or only there for a few seconds. I don't know which one's better.
Oh, who knows? In this day and age, modern technology, like what the hell?
Yeah. Hey, fair point. I mean, you have some crazy big old hairy balls with all that because like you
Thanks.
listen, we were talking about like so many of us put like ourselves out there emotionally. Like you put yourself out there like physically. You moved your entire life to another country into a really bad situation. Like that is a violent city.
Yeah.
Like a
no, it was.
historically violent city.
It's actually fucking shitty because like when I moved there, the IRA like shot a police officer in the head, and they hadn't like had any massive criminal activity like that in like 10 years prior. So it's just like, of course,
that was just
when I
like
got there-
reset that right back up.
Yeah. Just like there's a lot of rioting and cars on fire and automatic rifles and shit like
As
that.
you do.
But yeah, no, it's all good. You just like you can't let that stuff stop you. Like I believe in a thing called love. Just listen to the rhythm of my heart.
Good
Yeah.
song.
Yeah.
Good song.
Hey, you just have to go for it sometimes. Right. So I did want to mention one thing. Next Monday, that's when our next show, our next podcast drops, and it's a special Wintervale themed show, and that is for a reason.
Why is that?
I can't say yet,
Oh, okay.
but if you like WoW, you should probably listen to it. You know what I mean? And then also that night, Blood of the Scribe is having its annual Wintervale party in game. So
Nice.
you can go to that too if you want to. It starts at 9:30 EST, and it's gonna be fun.
That's gonna be a good time.
It's gonna be fun. Oh yeah, we're gonna play games. We're gonna give away some prizes. And we're gonna be in voice chat. We're gonna listen to cool music, and it's gonna be awesome. So
Hell yeah. Those are fun times too. Like those are
Oh, yeah.
historically fun parties.
we're gonna be playing Suicide Darts. Everybody loves that game.
Hell yeah. You can't wait.
It's an awesome game. Yeah, I'm excited for that.
All right, well, I think we should probably end there. I've got a Destiny 2 raid coming up with some of the
Ooh.
boys.
That's
But,
important.
But Nameen, I wanna echo what Nameen said. Thanks for sharing that with everybody because that was quite the story and something very personal to put out there. So
Yeah, it's all good. Thanks for listening, guys.
yeah, thanks everybody.
Yeah, so we love you, and thanks for tuning in. And next week, I promise, a little bit more upbeat. Okay.
Bye, Felicia.
Bye.
Mwah.